Coming from a family that breeds NBA-destined hoopers, it's been the job of the family's patriarch and the Ball brothers' brazen mouthpiece Lavar to keep them on the right course and realise their NBA dreams more sooner than later. While the eldest, Lonzo, manages to etch a straight path to the pros, the other two Ball brothers took a detour as they embarked on a basketball journey in different parts of the globe. But despite being away from their home, they remain relevant in the basketball scene, with the media and fans alike continuing to get hold of them like some sort of a hot commodity, especially the young Lamelo. Aside from his flashy hoop mixtapes on YouTube and hilarious clips of him on their own reality TV show Ball in the Family, we've heard only little to nothing about Lamelo Ball. To fill up that burning curiosity, I'll be detailing some of the fascinating narratives and riveting tales about the youngest of the Ball brothers in today's video. So without further ado, let's jump straight into it. Lavar saved his life. Say what you want about Lavar, but he does his best to help his kids succeed, and in this case, live. In the documentary called The Life of Lamelo, Lamelo shares one of his first memories as a kid in LA. Lavar said, Lamelo remembers one afternoon in a gym in a rough neighborhood in Los Angeles when he was 4. He remembers shooting off to the side with Lavar while Lonzo and Jello were playing pickup with grown men. Someone fouled hard and a verbal altercation broke out. All right, I'm gonna be back, one man threatened. He did come back. He slid through the back door with a black hoodie on, carrying a gun. Shot the whole gym up, said Lamelo. He remembers in a split second how his feet dangled in the air, his tiny body sheltered by his father's stomach. Lavar had scooped him, Lonzo and Jello up in his arms, somehow carrying all three while running so hard out of the gym. Scorching hot. Lamelo turned a lot of heads and generated huge social media buzz back when he was still playing at Chino Hills. The then sophomore Lamelo went on a tear against Los Osos High School as he dropped 92 points in just 32 minutes of play. Overall, Lamelo took 61 shots, consisting of 32 point attempts added with 7 threes, and claimed the offensive responsibility as his brother LiAngelo was sidelined by an ankle injury. He scored 51 points in the first 3 quarters, and the scoring spree was punctuated by a 41-point outburst in the fourth. Though the game was highly criticised for its lack of competitiveness and seriousness, dropping 92 points in a game is still a commendable feat, and certainly no joke for a kid who was still in his preteens. Twice as nice. The crossover is one of the most devastating maneuvers in basketball history. It's devastating because the one who gets crossed up usually is on the receiving end of ridicule and mockery, especially when his knees buckle and eventually fall on the ground in the process. This is exactly what happened when James Harden crossed up Wesley Matthews so badly that he even had time to stare at his casualty before jacking up a wide-open 3. It's already embarrassing enough when you get dropped from an ankle breaker once in a game. If you got crossed once again, I think you should turn off your phone and avoid browsing Facebook or IG because you might go viral, but for all the wrong reasons. As an 18-year-old kid playing in the top-tier Australian league, Lamelo did put on a show by putting Brisbane forward Tyler Braun in skates twice in a single possession. As Lamelo crossed the half-court mark, Braun tried to pick up Lamelo far away from the basket. Recognizing that Braun was extremely close to him, Lamelo put on his afterburners and dashed hard going to the left. Sensing that Braun wants to play tag-along, Lamelo puts him on a spin cycle using a quick behind the back that drops Braun on his rear end. Braun showed tremendous resiliency by picking himself up and got back on Lamelo's grill. But, once again, Lamelo's quickness proved to be too much for the poor defender as he put on his skates for the second time around with another behind the back. Lamelo ended this insane sequence with an in-and-out dribble before passing the leather to former NBA player Josh Boone for a botched dunk. Despite the failed outcome, Lamelo received resounding oohs and ahs from the Australian crowd for that filthy double behind-the-back stunner. The global superstar. Before being drafted as the 3rd overall pick in this year's NBA draft, Lamelo Ball's already a media darling that has a massive following on all social media platforms. Everywhere he went, whether it was in Lithuania or the land down under, Lamelo would often get swarmed by a flock of fans who just wanted to have a selfie or autograph with the young phenom. Speaking of the land down under, the Australian teammates of Lamelo of the Illawarra Hawks shared some of their unique experiences when they received the news that an 18-year-old basketball star would come over to their turf and play on their squad. His teammate Sunday Dead shared his first impression when he first interacted with Lamelo upon the early days of his arrival. Initially, a lot of guys had pretty mixed feelings about it. You always hear and read a lot of stuff about Melo, and we thought it might be like a full-blown Kardashian sort of situation. For all we know, there would be cameras following us everywhere, every move documented. But when he got here, it really opened our eyes to the fact that he was a great guy, just a regular kid who loves playing basketball. I roomed with him on the road and we became really close. We still speak now. He was always just a super chill, low-key guy. We hung out a lot. Sometimes I'd leave and come back and catch him just rapping to himself. He's always enjoying himself and just loving life. His other teammate, David McFarlane, didn't expect that Lamelo would be as accommodating as he thinks and was shocked by the celebrity-like treatment he receives over in Australia. I actually first met Melo at a McDonald's. He was standing at a table by himself. I happened to pull in there, went straight up to him and introduced myself, and I was surprised with just how polite and respectful he was. He was more than happy to talk to me, but what really impressed me was in the 5 minutes that we were there, he had that many people coming up to him and he was so friendly and polite to all of them. It didn't matter that everyone wanted to ask the same questions he'd been asked 1,000 times. He smiled and took photos with every last one of them anyway. We lived near Melo and Jermaine, and sometimes we'd be walking with them like 100 meters from home to the shop, and in those 2 minutes, the amount of cars that would literally stop in the middle of the highway, jump out and want to get a photo with him, it was amazing. It was like walking around with the Beatles. ESPN Australia commentator Corey Williams and teammate Matt Flynn also shared their experiences when Lamelo played his first ever preseason, going up against the 6-time NBL defensive player Damian Martin and the rest of the Perth Wildcats. When I saw Melo play that first game against Perth, I told everyone, this is the #1 pick in the draft. It was just one game, but after what he was able to do against the defending champions and the best defender we've ever seen, I just knew. He actually said to me, "Is that the best defender in the league?" He didn't even mean it in a disrespectful way. He just wasn't fazed at all. Martin, in return, did dish out some good words with the performance of the youngest Ball, particularly pointing out his natural feel for the game and superb level of basketball IQ. Even though it was preseason, I was definitely throwing quite a few different things at him. I just remember after the game thinking what a cool, calm and collected player he was. And you don't say that often about an 18-year-old playing his first game. At no point, whether we were picking him up full court or throwing double teams at him, did he seem rattled. I love the composure he played with. He just consistently seemed to make the right decisions and never forced anything. Young and wild. The Ball family doesn't ever shy away from the bright lights. In fact, their dad Lavar and the rest of the Ball brothers started their own reality TV show entitled Ball in the Family, which was created back in 2017. Around that same year, the Ball family made an appearance in WWE under the Miz's segment to promote the Big Baller brand. As expected, Lavar stole the show by taking his top off, flexing his guns while talking some smack in front of the Miz's face. But during the heated exchange between Lavar and the Miz, the then 15-year-old Lamelo got embroiled in a controversy when he had his mic on and unintentionally blurted out the N-word twice in front of live audiences. In the aftermath, WWE issued a statement saying the inappropriate language used by a guest during the Miz TV segment was not scripted nor reflects WWE's values.